Continuing our trend of buyer's advice videos, I'm going to be talking today about what you should be doing depending on what type of investment property you're looking for. So if you're out there at the moment in the buyer's market that we're in, it's a fantastic time to be picking up a deal no matter what you're looking for, but there are some things to remember. And we'll be talking specifically about the COVID-19 crisis and how it might affect the different types of investments you might be looking to do, or if you're just looking for a normal residential property and how it might impact your process. So let's just start by saying that the COVID-19 crisis is not having too much of an effect right now, but it is going to continue to have a worsening effect as we go into the colder months. Expecting and planning for this is going to mean you have a really good opportunity to buy some bargains right now. So first of all, we'll start with subdivisions. Now, this is a speciality of mine. We do a hell of a lot of development purchasing, and that is really where we see probably some of the best returns being had in the Perth market right now, and probably for the next decade or so. Subdivisions are going to be the dominant way to make quick money, within a 12 to 18 month period in the Perth market. Now, how are they going to be affected by the COVID-19 crisis? Well, not very much, thank God. Property and developments in general take 12 months or so to do. You're looking at a subdivision taking at least 6 to 12 months to get through, no matter how difficult or easy it is. You really can't get them through much faster than that. So if you're buying a development property right now, it's very likely, based on how fast we've seen China recover, that the COVID-19 crisis will have at least subdued slightly, if not blown over, by the time we hit the summer months in 2020. The final quarter of 2020 we're predicting is going to be a booming one. So if you're looking to buy a development property right now, I suggest get out there and buy one. Find one in the next couple of weeks while people are desperate to sell with all the uncertainty, before the normality sets in of all this social isolation. Get out there and find yourself a bargain, and use a professional like ours, like our service, to provide you with all the research, estimates and numbers that you need to be sure of what you're getting into before you purchase. Next thing on the list, renovations. Still a popular method of making money, but remember, the key to renovations and a good investment return is speed, timing and cost. Now, cost we'll start with is one of the most important things. Doesn't pay to go in there and just conservatively estimate everything. You'll find that most of the deals you'll walk away from, you need to have a professional that's going to be able to provide you with a full breakdown of what your renovation budget needs to be and what your scope of works needs to be if you're dealing with a difficult property. Now, this person needs to be someone who either does renovations for a living and has access to a network of builders and professional trades that can quote these items, not just give you a rough budget, or you need to be working with a builder directly that can give you a full scope of works and a full budgeted amount. But the difficulty is you're going to need to get them to come out with you to home opens to be able to see these things. And with today's social isolation rules, that is going to be quite difficult. There are ways around it. Using services like ours as an in-between. We do project management for renovations. We tie builders and clients together. We can provide overall estimation on renovation budgets, and then we back that up with quotes from trades and so forth. So there are ways to do that remotely, and we'll be happy to help and give you a ballpark estimate on what you're looking at if you're trying to do a new project. But timing is the next thing to talk about. You need to be in and out. You need to be purchasing that property. You need to be either getting early access, or you need to be in on the day after settlement, and you need to be getting that property done within the next 4 weeks. Once it's done, you need to have it back on the market. You need to have, and you're not going to be able to be planning giant home opens and auctions like you normally would be. You're going to need to be having it privately inspected. So it really needs to shine compared to the other properties. Buyers are not going to be out there just looking at every property in the market. They're going to be really picking which ones they're going out to. So you're going to need to make sure that you have a top-notch photographer and that your property is not just quickly spruced up. It needs to be glammed. It needs to shine in your marketing if you're going to get it moving quickly in this subdued market, especially over winter. You need to be turning these things over every 3 or so months, and that really doesn't leave you a lot of time. The average selling time is going to be likely increasing over the winter period. It's currently sitting around about 70 days. It'll probably increase to somewhere around 90 or so over the next 3 months, as we have a really big backlog of properties that are not wanting to sell as confidence is low. So remember, if you're doing a renovation, timing, you need to get your budgets right. And then lastly, you really need to make sure that initial purchase is at the right price, and that you understand that if you're buying at a cheap price, you're very likely to be selling at a cheap price, unless you've got a real fixer-upper. So yeah, feel free to call us if you need any advice with this. We're happy to give it, and we can put you in touch with the people that can help. Okay. And lastly, just the regular buyers, the buy and holds, the first home buyers, they're just the people that are looking to move house at the moment out of necessity or choice. People aren't going to stop buying real estate. So when you're out there looking at properties, you need to be making sure that you're A, staying safe, and B, you're doing your research, so you're limiting the amount of home openings that you really need to be going to, and C, that you are seeking help when you need it. There's a really big opportunity for negotiation right now. If you're a first home buyer and every dollar counts, and especially every $10,000 counts, we're seeing massive discounts on properties depending on where we're looking at the moment. Just this week, I've had a handful of properties come through to me through our private networks that have been discounted as much as 20% off of their original asking price. Sellers are very quickly coming down off their purchase and going, we need to sell, and we need to sell now. Not all sellers. Some sellers will be taking their properties off the market, so stock lists are likely to stay quite subdued at the moment. There's not going to be a hell of a lot of stuff to choose from, but what there is out there is likely to be very likely, or much more likely than normal, to be distressed. So it's time to be applying pressure to agents. It's time to be placing fast offers with good terms. It's time to be talking to them about finding ways to make their sellers comfortable, because sellers are going to be very uncomfortable, and find out if that's price or whether that's timing. And if you can make sure that you get favorable terms and decreasing your price, that's going to be fantastic. I would not be opposed at the moment to having extended settlement periods, as long as you're providing the seller with some kind of assurance that you've got good finances, or that you're putting a cash offer on or something like that. You really are, if you're purchasing right now, going to be looking at a very good period of upswing come the fourth quarter of 2020. So if you're looking to get someone something purchased right now with the idea that you're going to have some capital gains, I would very much back that opinion right now. You can pick up some deals and have nothing else needing to be done to the property except wait for capital gains to sort of kick in at the end of the year. That said, it is always more profitable to do a value-add strategy, more safe to do a value-add strategy. So renovations, subdivisions, a mixture of the two, building as well, always a good way to add value to a property and reduce risk by adding profit. But yeah, buying and holding right now is probably coming back into its own again as we hit a pretty steadily growing market over the coming years. And it is a long-term plan, so you really don't have to be considering any effect of COVID-19 on your purchasing, other than it's giving you a better discount.